Welcome to episode 1 of season 1 of the Underrated Podcast. I am Evan Hayes, and today I have a very, very special guest with me today. When thinking about who I want to have on the podcast, I tossing and turning in my bed who could be my first guest. I was calling up my homeboys, calling up my teachers, my coaches, talking about, hey, man, can y'all get on the podcast with me? I'm trying to do something nice. But I was like, why not bring the dude on that I've discussed half of these topics with, most of these topics with, since I've been alive, and it's been with me since day one. So if you're audio, you may hear that we sound alike. If you're visual, you may say that we look alike. Ladies and gentlemen, my big brother, Mr. Edward Hayes the Fourth. How you doing?
What's good? Yeah, y'all doing all right? Y'all doing all right?
How you feeling good today?
I'm good, man. You know, can't complain. You know, another day, another dollar. Trying to kick it with no legs.
Oh, yeah, for
you
sure.
Know, trying to make $1 with 10 cents. You know how it goes.
Oh, yeah, so just for the people at home, I know this, but how old are you and what do you do for a living?
Oh, okay. 24 years old. Shout out to the 98 babies out there. I am a biotechnician at Charles River Laboratories.
Okay,
So,
how long you been doing that for?
Oh, a month and some change.
So
now.
you still new to it?
Yeah, I'm like
you still
brand new
getting
to
used
the
to
game.
it.
But it's cool though.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, so far, it's definitely challenging my scientific knowledge of just the things I've learned over the years. Definitely exploring those things that I enjoy when it comes to, you know, the human anatomy and things like that. So, and I'm helping a lot of people, so I can't really complain at all.
That's good.
Yeah.
Did you go to school for this in particular? Like, where'd you go to school and all that?
Okay, I attended the University of Arkansas Pine Bluff, UAPB. Shout out to those HBCU students out there.
Most definitely.
Graduated 2020 with a degree in biology with a minor in chemistry. So yeah, I've always been about science. Yeah,
It's always been a love of yours.
Yeah, I've always been a very passionate about science. So
Most definitely, we love to hear. We love to see black men in the science field. You don't
shout
see
out
that
to
a
the
lot.
STEM majors, man. For sure.
But one thing that I like to do on this podcast, I'm going to make a precedent, is I am a big advocate for mental health, as is my brother is right here. That is one thing, especially for black men, that I feel like it's not expressed enough.
It is the last day of Men's Mental Health Month.
Also,
it is the last day
we're recording this on June 30th, this last day of Mental Health Month, so I really want to make sure to get this in. So the first segment of all these podcasts will be the mental health check-in. We can't talk about anything else unless our mental right. So Ed, from a scale from 1 to 10, mentally, how you feeling and why?
I say personally right now I'm at an 8.
Okay.
We both know that some things has been happening recently.
We do.
Personally, but things are looking up and up. Really can't trip about it. You know, there's always a solution to those problems. So yeah, man, I'm about an 8. I'm looking to become a 9. It's Friday. It's the weekend.
Yes, sir.
I'm finna kick it. You know
Yes,
what I'm
sir.
saying?
You got breath in your body, so that's what matters.
You feel me?
Yeah,
But yeah, how about you, bro? How you been?
I'm I'll say about a 7. About a 7 right
Why is
now.
that?
You know how I've been dealing with my injury and all that, but I'm slowly getting back to feeling like myself. It's been a struggle over these past few months. You know what I went through during the season was what we'll get into later in the podcast. But I'm working back to feel like myself now. I've enjoyed working at Kazuki, and shout out to Kazuki for letting me use y'all studios and all that. Shout out Larry, shout out Misty, shout out the whole crew.
Shout out all y'all miss my brother too. Appreciate y'all, man.
Yes, for sure. Shout out Josh, so everybody. So I appreciate y'all letting me do this. So I'm bad at 7, you know. Everything not perfect, as we know, but I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be alive. I'm blessed to be able-bodied, to have breath in my body. So I really can't complain too much, bro.
For sure. Hey,
and we will get into the next segment.
Let's get into it.
Welcome back to the Underrated Podcast. For our marquee segment, that will be the marquee segment for this podcast, it is What Is Your Underrated? This segment is where we present our topic, person, or personal story that we feel like is underrated or more people should know about. So when I hit up my brother, I asked him to come up with a topic or anything that's on his heart they feel like fits the underrated billing. So before I get into mine, I'm gonna ask Ed. Ed, what is your underrated today?
Well, before I get into that, what does it mean to be underrated to you? Because I want to make sure I'm right.
For me, because everybody's definition, because this is a very open-ended question.
For sure.
I feel like my definition is something, someone, or someone, or any topic that has put in the work or that has put pen to paper or put the facts out there that they are a good quality person, thing, topic, or something that has a positive insight to it.
For sure.
And hasn't got the amount of love or attention or spotlight that I feel like it deserves on anything like that. So that's my own personal definition. So what about you?
Well, I agree with you. Mostly in that being underrated means that you're just not seen after. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
There are a lot of things in this world that don't get enough social recognition, in my opinion.
For sure.
And the love and attention that it deserves, whether that's for the better or just bringing more light to it. So my underrated would have to be teachers. Okay. I think teachers are extremely underrated, especially black male teachers. Before I was a biotechnician, I was a 7th grade science teacher. And I feel like teachers,
what school, by the way?
Oh,
shout out to school.
Shout out to Freedom Prep, man. Shout out to them kids in the Haven and Westwood. But I feel like teachers are extremely underrated. Why? Because there's so much that teachers do on a daily. You know what I'm saying? Teachers hold multiple hats. They hold multiple titles.
For sure.
I've been counselor, therapist, big bro, unk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Basketball coach.
Yeah.
Like I've held many hats. Other than being an educator.
Yeah.
I have a very newfound respect for the educational system, and I feel like there's also a lot of flaws in the educational system. I believe that overall teachers don't get the proper resources to do what they want to do. There's some, people out there that really love what they do. They really enjoy waking up at 5 o'clock every day, getting there at 6:30, seeing 130, 140 kids every day, dealing with discipline problems, parents, grading papers,
making lesson plans,
you know what I'm saying?
Tests, all that.
You feel me?
Yeah.
And there's so much that goes in that on the daily.
Yeah.
From my personal experience, I know I was up at 5 and didn't get done until like midnight almost some nights. And there was a grind in that, and I appreciated that grind, if I'm being honest. But at the end of the day, I realized it wasn't necessarily for me. But I feel like teachers are underrated, man. I feel like there should be more attention to the educational system, more attention to students with disabilities, whether it's 504s and IEPs. So shout out my homie. Yeah. We know people, bro. That's crazy.
That's Head Honcho.
Yeah.
That's
Head
Honcho.
That's
Head
Honcho.
Honcho.
All right, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just feel like teachers are just underrated totally, regardless of grade level, school. I feel like teachers need a lot more support. Hey, I'm starting a hashtag now, man. Pay these teachers, man.
Facts.
Real talk, because
they're too underpaid, overworked and underpaid.
Overworked, underpaid, and it's a very stressful job. Being honest, I really enjoyed my time at Freedom Prep. I'm not saying this all to say that I didn't enjoy my time. I enjoyed the connections I made. I enjoyed the relationships I've built. I know I didn't burn any bridges there.
Yeah.
But like for instance, I know, and I was kind of pushed back with the amount of love the amount of love I received on my last day. Man, it was crazy.
You say you got pushed back?
No, my bad. I was pushed back.
Oh, you was moved from it. Yeah, I got you.
The amount of love I received on my last day. So it was May 10th this year. I was going to the cafeteria like I always do, because I'm always the last person to come to the cafeteria, because I'm always making sure the classroom is straight before we, get into the cafeteria. Walk in, look to my right. There's the stage / cafeteria. There's a big old trifold poster with balloons. It's the cafeteria. It's school.
Yeah,
so I'm thinking
something's going on.
You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking something going on. And I look again. I see my name on 10 million times on it. And I'm just like, is this for me?
What's going on?
What's going on?
Yeah.
And man, my 7th graders, my 6th graders, and my 8th graders all showed me just so much love. I got cards, gifts. I got emotional.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna cap to you. I got emotional. Because I really see I made an impact, and that's all I wanted to do. Going in day one, make an impact on those kids. And there are teachers every day that are making a impact. I know we all have teachers that we still remember that made impacts day one, and the things that they've taught and the things they've told us and the moments that we've shared with them still stick with us, regardless of, whatever. So I really feel like teachers are underrated, man. Like, for real. These teachers need to get paid. We need to have a better payment, plan for them or just salary range for them, because it's a lot of work that goes into a teaching, especially if you want to do anything extracurricular, not just, being in the classroom. That's anything outside the classroom. That's another 3-4 hours added to your 8-9 hour day. You know what I'm saying? So, and then I'm blessed to, at the moment, to not have no kids. And I ain't got a family. But they're parents. They're not parents, but they're teachers out here with more than one kid, you know what I'm saying, with families, and they still go through that grind every single day. We saw mom. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
I was just going to say that for the people that don't know, our mother is currently a professor at Lane College. Our grandmothers was in the teaching system in multiple states for 35 years. Yeah. So we've been around that since
education is very important in our household.
Very important. Our mother and grandmother have their doctorates. Our father has his master's degree. So we've been around that since we were little kids, and they stressed that in our household. So my question to you, Ed, first of all, why do you think teachers are underrated? My mistake, never say that, underrated. And what can be done socially to give them the recognition they deserve?
Well, socially, I feel like it takes a collective effort. There has to be, in my opinion, accountability from the school board to understand that people are coming, waking up every day to do this. Not for you, not for the wages, but for the love of these children.
Yep.
And I feel like there are certain people I don't know any names. I'm not, I don't want to call out no names, but I just feel like there are certain people who aren't aware or aren't willing to be aware of those who are in that grind every day. So socially, I just feel like people need to step up. I feel like social media has been, saying what they need to say for years and years now, but we just need to, for those empowered, need to step up. Gotcha. It's that simple. We can make the hashtags and social media posts all day. I know I said it earlier as a kind of a joke, but people need to step up. Yeah. As simple as that.
Action. Simple.
So it's action. I mean, simple, we can talk about it all day.
Yeah.
But collectively, we need to hold those in power accountable to pay these teachers fairly, because they deserve it. They deserve it. We can avoid so many problems in the educational system on a daily basis if we give these educators their proper compensation. That's just how I feel.
I ain't gonna put your business out there, but I remember you telling me y'all didn't have books.
Yeah,
at the time,
bro.
Yeah, I understand how that's tough.
Yeah, bro.
Just
imagine trying to make a lesson plan
without
for
books.
6th and 7th, 8th and 7th graders without books. You know what I'm saying? So it's tough out here. It's hard out here.
I understand that.
It wasn't about I did it for the kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was about making sure the next generation is straight where they need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Same thing that Miss Holly Robinson and all them did for you. Hanley and Bill.
Shout out Miss Holly Robinson, man.
And Menanzas, all them paying it forward to Nation. And I really respect, I commend that on you as your little brother that saw you going through it. I was with Edward in some of those basketball practices with his kids. I understood and I saw how the pushback he got, but the respect he deserved and earned that he got from those kids. So you have to commend him and all those teachers out there. Shout out to all the teachers out there for sure.
Educators, man, for real.
Well, that was a great underrated for the first 7, but I'm gonna see if I can rival it a little bit. I don't know about that. We're gonna see what I can do. Well, my underrated, ladies and gentlemen, is collegiate athletes. In particular, collegiate track athletes. And I know it's pretty on the nose because if y'all don't know, I am a sprinter at Milligan University. I specialize in 100, 200 meter dash, and I'm going to my sophomore year of college. And I can just say being a collegiate athlete is and isn't at the same time all what it cracks up to be. I know both of us growing up, we wanted to play sports in college. We played basketball, football, track, baseball. We golf. We had trainers. Early morning workouts. We did all that. We were committed from an early age, and we had this dream of going and playing on the next level.
Hey, the work don't stop though. I'm still in the gym.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
The work don't stop.
that never stops.
The work don't stop.
But I feel like us and a lot of kids had that dream starting off to being a collegiate athlete or having that signing day, or signing that national letter of intent, or getting that scholarship letter in the mail, talking to coaches on the phone, that whole process. And it's great. It is great. And I am blessed to be in this position. But also, people don't really understand the work and the other side that goes into being a collegiate athlete. A lot of people see the end product. I feel like a lot of people see the medals or the records or
glitz and the glamour.
Yeah, all the points you put up in the game, how many touchdowns you score. But people really don't get into the mental, physical, and emotional tax that is being a collegiate athlete. Just for my sake, first semester this year, Edward, I told you, it kicked my tail, bro.
Sure.
Like, first, I'm 7.5 hours away. First, I'm in a predominantly white environment as one of the few black faces on my team. On campus. I feel like I know a lot about the sport, but I don't know nothing for real. Mm-hmm. I'm learning a lot of new things. And you think you're good in high school, and you get to college, it's a whole different world. And I'm glad I went through those growing pains. But I feel like a lot of people out there don't understand how unforgiving it can be if you're not getting the playing time you want, if you're not running the marks that you think you should, if you're injury ridden. I can talk on that, and I'll talk on that a little bit more.
I can too.
He can too. We were just talking about that. Like, we were just talking about that yesterday.
Facts.
Like, it's very, very unforgiving. Like, people don't understand. Well, at least my team had to go through getting up at having a test on Monday morning, but you're just getting back from a 2-day track meet, and getting back at 1 o'clock in the morning. You got to be up for your 9 o'clock exam on Monday. People don't talk about how you're missing class time to get on the bus at 5 in the morning to run at a track meet all day, be in the heat all day, and then getting back at 12 o'clock at night.
Right.
And still having to contemplate you want to get up the next morning and
right.
do your work that you have to get done.
Right.
Like, it's a lot that goes. People don't talk about having to go into the training room 3-4 times a week because your body just can't take the grind.
Right.
Because you haven't used to it. Edward knows this, but y'all know this. I played basketball all throughout my life, as he did too. But speaking on me, I played basketball from when I was 5 years old up to my senior year of high school. I didn't really pick up track till my 9th grade year of high school. And during the fall season and winter, I was strictly basketball. And then as soon as spring hit, go to track. So I never got the feeling of a full track season like I have now. I never ran indoor. I never had a fall track training, indoor season, wind down, then right back up for outdoor season. Right. Running from
the whole schedule,
running from August all the way to April, if May. In June and July, how some collegiates just get the NCAAs just got done with the national championships 2 weeks ago. So that's a lot of strain on your body that a lot of people don't think about. They just see and they ridicule a lot of athletes, especially on the national media. They ridicule these college athletes that are just 18, 19, 20 years old, and they don't understand they got a calculus exam in the morning.
Right.
Like, oh, who cares? Everyone's going, but that's a real grind that you have to go through all the time.
Right. And
I feel like the national media really doesn't talk about that, or they glorify it in a negative light. Like, people when Derek Whitehead, when he was at Duke last year, when he hurt his foot, they were on his case because he said he was injury ridden. He wasn't producing what he wanted to do because he was no one player in the class. You can go
project the lottery pick,
and then he ended up going late first round this year.
Yeah.
Like, you can go every year. Like 20 to
21, 21. Yeah.
Like, every year you see the national media get on these athletes, football, basketball, baseball.
But you see it though, because I feel that one of the main issues is that we see them as athletes and not students.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Student comes first always.
Students, and students, they're people. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'm kind of speaking big topic here, but we have this glorification of sports. We have this glorification of athletics, because it's entertainment.
Yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
But in the day, like you said, there are people who put in the hours and the hours and the hours to entertain those, and people don't understand. Like, there's real work. It's and when I say work, like you said, there's mental work, physical work, emotional work. And I feel like we, as a I guess, a sports society and those who consume sports, we forget to look at that part of it.
Yep.
We hold athletes on a pedestal, and that's fine because some people deserve that pedestal. But we have to still take a step back, and help them understand like they're people.
Yeah.
They're humans that go through stuff each and every day.
And one thing people really don't think about is from an athlete's perspective, especially when money gets into it, when college, that's all it's about.
Right.
People think it's about school pride, and that is a part of it. But it's about them dollars. Like, our parents wasn't gonna send me to a school that we was gonna be in debt, $30,000 in debt.
We weren't paying for no bachelor's degree.
Exactly. They were trying to find us. Because once you get to there, it's like you're playing under a contract. It seems like, because it gets renewed every year. They can wholeheartedly say
essentially a 1-year contract.
Exactly. They can they're investing in you, and if you don't run that certain time, put up the points that you average, they can take your scholarship, and that can be daunting to be thinking about in the back of your head. Like, I ain't doing what I'm supposed to do. They may pull me next year, or they may bring a transfer coming in that plays my position or runs my event, and he may take my spot. I may be getting less bread. I may have to go to financial aid to try to get some bread so I can go to school next year. I don't want to call mom and dad and saying I can't come back because of this, and that.
And that's a real scenario.
That happens a lot.
And it happens a lot. It happens to a lot of people.
And I'm not suggesting any athletes don't try to go for college, but I'm saying it's very rewarding, and it can be a very unforgiving process. Just speaking on my take, because I see with the time finna wind down, I am still dealing with. I had a nerve lock in my left hamstring in my back from May of 2022 until now, and I'm dealing with that. I had to go through my whole season basically on one leg the whole year, trying to get back on this investment that this school put into me. I was hyped up as all this fast freshman coming from Memphis. He's going to come in and change the program. And then when I didn't reach those expectations early as they thought, that was mentally bad for me. I started comparing myself to other people. I was calling him mad, calling him crying because so-and-so saying this, so-and-so saying that. I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. And that was a real mental battle I had to go through at a pretty early stage into the season, while having to go through my academics, while having to go through being homesick for being away from home. That's a lot of things.
Freshman.
And being a freshman. Just being a freshman in general is a big process in general.
In college.
Yeah. Like, people didn't think about that. And I still had to go through the whole season. People don't, like, he cares, my family cares, but the people, do they really care like that? Some do, most don't. Because at the end of the day,
it's about production.
It's about production and what you do on that track, on the court. It's about money at the end of the day. Because they can bring a guy that's 2 years younger than you doing the same thing as you. What's the point of having you there? There's none. So it's just going through that whole process can be very rewarding. It can be very unforgiving at the same time. I ended the season being second team all ACC, which is a great feeling, a great thing to end off on. But through the season, it was a grind. It was a grind, man. Going and getting my legs taped all the time, getting shots in my leg, trying to make sure my body can feel good. Taking ice baths 2-3 times a week. People don't see that part. And I feel like for all high school athletes out there, go through the process, work your butt off to get there. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows once you get there. It can be. If you're like that, you're like that. And props to you. But for 85, 90% of us, it's a grind. The grind don't stop when you get that letter of intent. Because that's just where it starts, honestly. And that's the mentality I'm going into my second season. I know what the game is now, so I can go with a better mindset, mentally go with a better mindset, and physically my body will follow. And I feel like that's a good way to end this segment. I feel like we gave with 2 great underrated stories, underrated perspectives. I hope people at home look at and think about on a deeper level. But now the next thing will be the shot clock, and we'll get into a little sports talk. Y'all be right back. Welcome back to the Underrated Podcast. We have had a pretty good show so far. I have, again, my guest, my big brother, Edward Hayes IV. For this third segment, we call it the shot clock. So we talk about we hoop a little bit. We talk about the headlines in sports right now, and we're going to do this from 8 to 24 minutes, of course, for the late, great Black Mamba himself, Kobe Bean Bryant. He's been a big inspiration to me and my brother coming up, his mentality, his will to win, his drive, his work ethic. So I just want
dedication to what you love to
dedication
do. To what you love to
exactly. So I want to honor him a little bit in my small way right here. So yeah, shot clock. Let's do it. Right now, we're gonna talk about the Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies, off season and the free agent going on right now. We are the biggest Grizzly fans you would ever die hard. I doubt you can find two people our age that love the Grizzlies or know the game of basketball about the Grizzlies as good as us. We've got chance started at the games. We have called out screens for the players. We've had players shout outs on the court for calling out stuff for them. We've got playoff experience. We've been there through the thick and thin.
Every step of the way.
Actually, this man right here was actually when he was in second grade. The Grizzly announcer.
Yeah.
He won a Read to Retrieve contest, and he was a Grizzly announcer for 2 years straight, won it back to back. So ever since then, he's been hooked, and I followed his suit. So yeah, Grizzlies. Obviously, first of all, how you feel about this past season?
All right, totally. I can say it was a disappointment because we had our expectations coming in. We all know about the John Moran situation. We all know about what's been going on.
Yeah.
Still hoping the best for him. Hoping, he locks in because, again, he can be amazing. He can be amazing.
Yeah.
Just got to focus. But overall, I think the season, if I put it on a grading scale, I'd say the season was probably like a B+.
Okay.
B. Second in the West, great. Injuries hindered us quite a bit. Steve-O, BC, things like that.
Zaire.
Yeah, Z. Yeah. But I really feel good about the rookies we picked up. I feel good about Roddy. I'm feel good about Laravia too. Feeling really good about the rookies. I like Lofton's game a lot. If we can use him in the high elbow area,
for sure.
Like the opposite Steve-O, that could be really dangerous.
Game, for sure.
Really dangerous if we use it right in certain sets.
Because he can create off the dribble a little bit too.
So yeah, overall it was a B. How about you?
I respectfully disagree.
Okay.
I would give us a C- at the best. Just because I am a fan of the confidence.
High take.
I am a fan of the confidence that the Grizzlies have always had ever since Mike and Tony and the big folks was here. I've been a fan of the grit and grind mentality, but it gets to a point where it's like if you talk so much, you have to follow through with it.
I mean, yeah,
you have to, and that's the only thing. And we had a great regular season, and we ran into probably the best 7 seed of all time in the first one of the best 7 seeds of all time.
We were hurt.
We were hurt also.
We had BC and Steve-O. I don't feel like. I just don't feel like. Because we got killed on the boards.
We did get killed on the boards. AD was killing us all night on the boards.
If we had 2 of our 7 best rebounders.
Yeah, I feel like and Ja got hurt again.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, only reason I say this is because I feel like we underwhelmed with I feel like we were Western Conference Finals lock in, or at least close to lock in for sure.
When we're healthy.
Yeah,
when we're healthy.
And I just feel like with all the stuff that 12 went through, off the court and the attention he brought to the team, positive and negative, all the stuff DB did, positive and negative. Because not saying they did all negative, because of course not. But I just feel like that's why I give it a C, because it was just a lot going on, and a lot of it wasn't
it was a lot of distractions.
It wasn't about basketball at the end of the day.
And then
we weren't putting the product on the floor consistently. It was time we looked like one of the best teams in the league, especially early on when we were healthy. And then when we first got Luke, we looked like a juggernaut, honestly. But I feel like just to follow through wasn't through us.
I mean, I agree. Yeah. I agree. But NBA season is hard. It's a long 82 games. You know, things happen.
For sure.
Injuries are part of the game. Did they as a team create some of those distractions? Of course.
For sure.
But some things are out of our control.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like Luke getting hurt game 6.
Yeah, can't control that.
We got killed, no doubt about it. Yep. But there's some things that are out of our control. You got to be real.
Yeah.
I mean, I see your point. But my only rebuttal to that is, and we can move on because we get into this offseason talk. But excuse me, when somebody asks you how you feel, how do you feel you're gonna do it in the season?
Of course you're gonna say
win a championship. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't that
be your mentality going?
You feel me? Why wouldn't that be your mentality? So can you blame them for being confident or? I mean, we got egg in our face, sure.
Yeah.
But would you blame them? Like if you was in that situation,
same
if you were in the same situation, what would you say?
Yeah.
So
I understand that.
That's my only thing.
But last season. This about a week ago, we got, I feel like, the best trade of the offseason so far. We acquired Marcus Smart from the Boston Celtics for Tyus Jones, shout out Stones, and a few draft picks. So, Ed, what was your initial reaction when we got Smart?
Kind of surprised. Because I was like smart. Then I thought about like, this could be good.
Yeah.
We all know Marcus Smart has been a perennial player in the league for a little minute now.
Yeah.
He's been a Celtic for the past 9 years.
Mm-hmm.
He has been the heart and the soul of a 5-time Eastern, 5-time team that went into East Conference Finals. Went to the finals. Heart and soul of a team that had a finals run.
Yep.
He's a veteran. He's seen JT, IT,
Kyrie.
He's seen a lot. So he knows the how tumultuous an organization can be. Because we all just think back, we were all talking about Kyrie and leaving Boston. You know what I'm saying? And just how tumultuous that is.
Yeah.
So I feel like he's a great addition. I feel like he's mature, a veteran presence. Give a little more maturity to the locker room. He is good off ball. He knows how to play with superstars.
He does.
He knows how to play. He's tough. He's rugged. He fits the mentality of the team, the city.
He can guard 1 through 3.
He can guard 1 through 3.
Maybe 4. Depends on how to line
Depending
up.
on how to, small ball, maybe can ball small ball 4.
Yeah.
But I believe Marcus is probably one of the best additions this offseason. In my opinion, thing about Matthias, he wasn't the best with Bane and Ja on the floor.
Yeah.
But you can play smart. In my opinion, you can play smart with Bane and 12 on the floor. Yeah. That's just how I see it. And I feel like that's even more beneficial to what we can be.
Yeah.
Offensively speaking, he could be really good off the bench. After Ja serves his suspension, he could be I feel like he can be great off the bench. If you play him off the bench, just depending on what this 3 position looking like. But I feel like it's a great offseason so far. We still have 12 to 13 to 14 million in the MLE, mid-level exception. We still have another roster spot open, so we can still pick up somebody. I feel like the Grizzlies are in a good position to make some solid noise this offseason. So,
and we're going to get into that, but since you brought it up, since we do have the MLE, who do you think we should aim for? Whether that be a sign and trade or just sign and trading some pieces, what you think?
Sign and trade is tough because you got to match money.
You do?
Like DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith would be a good pickup. Cam Johnson's on the market, but the Nets said they're going to match anything with him. Who else? I really like Eric Gordon. You can never have enough shooting. He's older. Nothing wrong with veteran presence. If we can sign him for like maybe 16 for 2, spread that out a little bit. We can break the MLE into 2 contracts.
You
honestly. Maybe sorry, GD, maybe release Conchar. But and we can make some shake. I feel like we're in a good position to make a good roster move if we're smart with it. I trust Kleiman. I trust the front office and what they've been doing so far. So yeah.
And I'm pretty much on the same boat as you. When I first got the reaction of Smart Shot, I was kind of over the moon. I was like, oh crap, we got the last 2 D-pours on the same team.
Yeah, that's big.
Like we don't talk, but we got killed on the boards last year. But I feel like defensively we were inconsistent a lot on the perimeter last year. Yeah. Like I feel like if Dillon wasn't in the game, our perimeter defense was shoddy sometimes.
It could be lacking.
Because Ja, he can be a good defender when he locks in. Dez can be a good defender when he locks in. So I feel like that was a lacking position. I feel like Smart can fill that role beautifully. Right. And he can also spread the floor.
He's not the best. He's shooting maybe like 35, 36.
You got to respect him
from 3, but it's all right. If he gets it up a little bit, then.
But he shoots like 45% in the corner though. He does. He shoots like 45% in the corner though. Okay. That's probably where he's gonna be with Ja and Dez on the floor. So playing off ball. So I feel like that would be a great. And and for the off season, for the MLE, I feel like a guy like Dante DiVincenzo would be a great.
I see that, but I
like Dante.
I like that, but I like a lot of teams are offering him.
Yeah,
like max money. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
but I feel like he would be a great guy off the bench that could a 3-and-D guy, and also please bring back Jay Crowder. Please, I really want Jay Crowder back on it.
Shout out Bossman 99, man.
We loved him when he was here. The team seemed to really, really like him. He was a leader on the floor.
I mean,
he closed a lot of games for us down the stretch.
True. Yeah. But the Grizzlies, the young guys have credited Jay Crowder and Solomon Hill on like their veteran presence. So I agree.
I feel like those two guys, for me personally, I feel like those guys we can really try to get with that MLE. But into the next, we're shifting gears a little bit. The NBA draft just happened. We both watched it. We both had our own opinions on it. But we're gonna do a little something different on it. I'm gonna ask you, what's one legit prospect you see in the draft, one potential bust, and then one sleeper that a lot of people aren't looking at for this upcoming draft class.
I know they went top 5, but I really like the Thompson twins.
Okay.
I really like the Thompson twins. I know that's kind of top 5, but like still, they
I honestly disagree.
They
We'll
tough.
get into that.
They tough.
Yeah.
You know, I know they play in OT, and that's cool.
That's what I'm saying.
And their level of competition might not be there, but I know, man, they hooping.
Yeah.
They can hoop, and they're really, really smart. They're not gonna understand. They had to be the best players on their team. They had to. Now they don't have to. You know what I'm saying? One's going to Detroit, one's going to Houston. There's talent on both of those teams. They can both play off ball really, really well. Both of them can shoot the ball really, really well. Or one's better than the other.
Yeah, they spot one was I'm sure he's a little.
One's a little shoddy, but
yeah.
I that's shot mechanics. That's all in development.
Yeah,
and that's so I feel like they could be really, really good. Another one would be Cam Whitmore, even though he failed.
Yeah, he did fall. I was surprised he failed.
He failed to 20, I believe.
Yeah, something like that.
I forgot what team picked him up, but Cam Whitmore could be a sleeper. A legit prospect. A potential bust. Ooh, tough.
You gonna hate me when I say mine.
Go ahead. Go.
My bust is Brandon Miller.
Wow.
Tough. I just don't see
Tough.
it, man. I just see him as a poor man's Brandon Ingram.
Tough.
I feel
I take.
I feel
Tough.
That's all I see him.
Wow.
I see him as a not so good. His body, he's defensively. He's not there defensively yet.
He's 6'10".
He is 6'10".
Like a 7-some wingspan.
He is 6'10". He was on the Alabama team where he was premier the best player. They had talent in that team, but I feel like the offense was shaped around him a lot more than it should be. And they had, because Javon Quinley got hurt early in the year, so the keys kind of got given to him pretty early. I just don't see. And then I'm just gonna say y'all can laugh at me, but you don't say Paul George when you say Paul George the GOAT. I'm sorry,
GOAT.
like
No.
you're
okay.
I don't see it when you say something dumb like that, bro. Like
GOAT.
I'm sorry, bro.
That's his GOAT. Like
Paul George.
Understand? Paul George.
He's a buck. He's tough.
He's tough on both ends.
He's tough.
PG is tough.
He is
Shout out
very
PG.
much so. One of the best players
Shout
in the
out
league.
PG.
Yeah.
But understand, like, when it comes to his skill set, that's who you saw. That's who you emulated after. Like T-Mac, you know what I'm saying? Like T-Mac said Penny was his GOAT. You know what I'm saying? Like
we're T-Mac a Hall of Fame, but
I'm saying Penny is a Hall of Fame. If Penny wasn't hurt, Penny's a Hall of Famer too.
Yeah,
so you gotta understand, like those, like we're in a different generation where you can look up anybody for anything. You know what I'm saying? They have their resources to ball everywhere, and maybe for him, that's who we saw coming up because that's his. I mean, think about it. Paul George is 6'9". Brandon Miller 6'10". Both of them got a handle. Both of them can play both sides of the ball. Both of them can shoot too. Yeah. So I just because I don't necessarily agree, like greatest of all time, okay, whatever. Yeah. But understanding like his point of view when it comes to ball, I get it. I get what he's talking about.
And I also feel like the Charlotte Hornets is not a very good run franchise, and I feel like LaMelo's been the only pick that's hit in the last few years. So I feel like that's not really a good
Michael
fit.
Jordan is
not a good owner, even though he's finna get out of there. So that's why I feel like that's not really a good situation for him.
Yeah,
you know?
We'll see.
Yeah, and I just feel like they have a lot going. They still got Terry Rozier over there. That's a ball dominant. They still got LaMelo's on ball. That's ball dominant. Like they still have a lot of guys. Miles Bridges, if they bring Miles Bridges back, that's still another guy that can take some of that load. I feel like it's a lot going on. And my legit is Scoop. I feel like Scoop gonna be the best.
Scoop gonna be tough.
I feel like besides Wimby, I feel like Scoop gonna be like a generational type of guy. He has the body for it.
Scoop gonna be tough.
He can do everything on the floor
right now. He's
now.
been a pro for the past 3 years now.
Facts. So. Like he's had a pro body in a pro game. He's calm. Like he doesn't get rushed when you see him play. He's very all that. So I just feel like that's probably the best way to go about it. And my sleeper, Derek Whitehead. He was no one player coming out of high school. He went to the Knicks, which is a pretty good organization. That's probably good for him to come in, and he can play in the G League for a little bit, but he can also be an impact player right away. I feel like he's like an MPJ type of situation. He may be hurt for maybe 1-2 years, but once he gets healthy, I feel like he can be a really, really good piece on what Brooklyn is building right now. And you never gave me your sleeper. Who's your sleeper?
My sleeper is undrafted. His name is Colin. I'm gonna make sure I say this in his name right. His name is Colin Castleton.
Okay.
He's a 6'11" center from Florida. He went undrafted. He signs a 2-way with the Lakers. But
Okay.
He's a 6'11" big man who can see the floor really well. He's not the best shooter. He's extreme. He's an unorthodox game. He's really, really skilled. I like it. I like his game a lot. I wanted the Grizzlies to pick him up on a 2-way. Based on like the film I've seen, he's solid defensively. 6'11", big wingspan. He was under Hunter Dickinson in Michigan.
Yes,
then he
he
transferred to Florida, and he showed out at Florida. He killed Walker Kessler.
he did. He did.
So
yeah, I remember that game honestly.
I feel like he can handle the ball. He can bring it up the floor. He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
And I like his game a lot. And there's nothing wrong with having playmakers.
The only thing I would disagree with you on, LeBron has never been good with young players, even around his team. And the Lakers, I feel like they're not in the mindset.
He's on.
I feel like he won't even see the floor. I feel like they're probably gonna send him out as a trade package, knowing how LeBron is with his players. You know.
But there's no guarantee LeBron's gonna be here after next year since Bron's
That is
coming.
true.
So we'll see.
And like as a player, I know who you're talking about. I feel like he can be a good prospect, but I feel like the situation may not be good for him right now.
Yeah.
But you know, I feel like I bet this draft is a lot deeper than what people think.
Oh, way deeper.
I feel like a lot of people saying they're
deeper.
top heavy,
Way
and I don't
deeper.
necessarily agree with that.
Yeah.
If you actually watch the film, like there's no reason Kendrick Davis couldn't have got drafted. And Kendrick Davis was one of the best players in college basketball, and he didn't get drafted. And I'm like that's a testament of how deep this draft was.
Yeah.
You know. But I feel like all our players have potential, besides Brandon Miller, to
Still
to
tough.
do things
Still
like
tough.
that. But yeah, I feel like that's a good way to end on that, and we're gonna get to the handoff right quick, right after this break. Welcome to the last segment of the Underrated. We have had some good talks today. I feel like I couldn't have picked a better guest to be with me today.
Appreciate that.
This ain't it. It's like we talking back at the crib.
Yeah.
Like this ain't really
Ain't no
nothing for
pressure.
us. Like
Ain't no pressure.
we either be on the phone talking like this or in the crib or at his crib. Like it ain't really nothing. So now we are gonna wrap up everything in this segment called the handoff. Where, of course, y'all know I run track, so the handoff, you know, in relay, you hand off to the next person, and that's gonna be something I will be asking, even though he's saying I'm corny. It's something I will be asking. And I saw that look. Don't play with me. I saw that look. I know you. Don't play. I know what you be doing. Anyway, shut up. Anyway, we're gonna conclude this segment, and then Edward Hayes Franklin the fourth.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
He gonna hand out to somebody. So I'm gonna start. What do we get over today, Edward? Like what we go over today?
Talked about quite a bit, man.
Yeah.
We talked about the importance of appreciating teachers.
Yep.
Other than Teacher Appreciation Week, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We talked about the importance of being empathetic and sympathetic towards college athletes.
Yes, sir.
And I feel like that's one of our biggest issues.
Also, track athletes need more love. Pay professional track athletes the money they deserve.
Straight like that,
anyway.
Especially over here in this country.
Oh my gosh, it's terrible over here.
Either way.
It's bad,
But just I feel like overall we kind of talked about just the importance of showing people the love that they need. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, being underrated.
Yeah.
Giving that spotlight to those, and I hope, you know, with this podcast, I'm extremely proud of you in this. Seriously.
Appreciate that. Real talk.
That you can further explore certain topics. Hopefully, if you have me back on another episode, we can further explore topics that just need to be discussed, especially in the Black male community. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I want to give people the platform to tell their stories and be their true selves. I tried to think of a smart word to say it, but I couldn't think of a smart word to say it. But be their true selves. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say. Authentic. That's what I was trying to. I just blanked. I don't know why. But yeah, just be their authentic selves. And we also talked about little sports here and there. We are avid Grizzlies fans. We talked about the Marcus Smart move, how we both think is a positive move that can really move the needle for the Grizzlies. And we discussed some prospects we think we should go out. Ed thinks. Who did you say, Ed, again? You feel like we good?
Colin Castleton is Cam Whitmore. Colin Castleton and the Thompson twins.
We was talking about you went to the draft. We was talking about the Grizzlies. But
oh, my bad.
You good though?
For sure.
But we also talked about that too. We talked about the draft, those guys would be good.
Yeah.
For the Grizzlies, he said Dorian Finney-Smith would be a very good pickup, and I kind of agree. He was kind of shoddy for the Mavericks.
3-and-D.
But for me, I feel like Dante DiVincenzo and Bruce Brown and Jay Crowder would be some very good pickups. We talked about the draft a little bit. The draft just happened. We gave our prospects. Ed didn't like that I said Brandon Miller may be a bust.
Still wild.
But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that a little later.
It'd be crazy if you're right. That'd be so crazy if you're right.
I'm gonna run it back.
Boy.
I'm like, first year he averaged like 8 and like 2. I'm like, I told you.
Michael Kidd-Gilchrist.
No, that's who he is. I'm glad you said
Chill
that.
out.
No,
Chill
that's
out.
who he
No.
is. That's who he is.
We not finna do that.
I swear.
We not finna do
no,
that.
I swear.
He not finna do
Think about
that.
the same draft. You had a big man going up on who Anthony Davis and Wemby.
We ain't got a lot of time. We got a lot of time. But
Nah.
still, I'm just saying though.
I'm just
We're not
saying.
finna do that though. He couldn't shoot.
That's the
MKG
same.
couldn't shoot. He couldn't shoot.
I swear to God, Michael Kidd, Brandon Miller, stamp it right now. Anyways, shout out, look out for Derek Whitehead. Shout out Derek, and I feel like Scoot Henderson gonna be the best player in this draft besides Victor Wembanyama. My question to you, Ed, this is a handoff segment. Who do you think we should have on this podcast next? But the trick is you have to help him or her get them on this podcast. So on the spot right now.
Oh, all right. Who? They have to be city or like
It can be city, it can be nation, they could be in Africa. All I know,
Okay.
as long as they got internet connection, we can do it.
for sure.
But you got to help them though. You got to help me get them on.
Wow, you would put me on the spot.
Yes,
I'm not
sir.
expecting this. You could have put this in a little proper song.
Nah, gotta be,
That's crazy.
It got to be straight to the point.
For sure.
Authentic.
Chill out. Wow.
It
Some
can
people I
be. It can
know.
be your barber. It can be your classmate. It can be one of your students.
I got one.
All right, say less. I feel like I know what you're gonna say.
Who?
Cologne.
I could.
I feel like
I
you're gonna
could.
say Cologne.
Yeah. I'll say Kalon. Kalon Hooks. Kalon is, for those who don't know, I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to the good noobs out there. But Kalon is my Kalon is my neophyte, and he works for ESPN right now. And I'm really extremely proud of him and just what he does on a daily basis. I don't know exactly what he does, but I know he's in Connecticut.
He's a video coordinator. He makes like some of the video packages and
For sure.
highlights and actually some like those packaged documentaries that ESPN does sometimes really for high school and college sports. So shout out Kalon. He has been a good mentor to me. So I feel like he'll be someone to good have.
Yeah, I think that would be cool. But I was gonna say my homegirl Kiera Jones.
Okay.
She is a social worker right now, and I feel like being underrated. Social workers don't get enough love.
I agree.
Just the things they do on a daily basis. You know what I'm saying? You know, mom worked for DCS for a point in time.
She did.
And
We saw
she
that.
was a social worker.
We saw that.
And she was a social worker. We saw, you know,
Yeah, we saw
everything
that.
she went through. So I feel like social workers definitely could deserve some spotlight for sure. So I definitely see what I can do.
And I appreciate that. And there you have it. That concludes episode 1 of the Underrated Podcast. I
Yes,
say
sir.
again, appreciate my big bro, Edward Franklin Hayes the fourth.
Still wild you saying my full government.
So
That's
do.
all right.
Yeah, man. Y'all ain't gonna say my government name for right now.
That's crazy.
But yeah, appreciate him having on the show. Appreciate Kazuki for letting me use this space
Shout out Kazuki.
to talk my talk, and I'm still trying to make it do. So y'all gonna have to bear with me. I'm trying to get this episode out probably next week as soon as possible. And shout out next week. It's gonna be something good for you. Check out. Peace, love, be blessed.